When it's late and your productivity is falling off, you can splash a little water on your face, or better yet, revive with Vivarin. Government-appointed experts say it's safe and works, and all you need is 1 glass of water. So revive with Vivarin.
I can't believe it. Don't you ever quit? I've been away a long, long time. I mean, a really long time. And my roommate is still going strong.
Meet his roommate. Renews It Roommate Air Freshener with twice the freshening liquid, so it freshens air longer than Magic Mushroom.
It's incredible. I can't believe how long my roommate is lasting.
Long-lasting roommate from Renews It, where fresh ideas are always in the air.
You, behind the coffee cup, show us your Caffrey smile. Caffrey decaffeinates your smile. Caffrey toothpaste helps keep coffee and tea from staining your smile like they stain your cup. Get Caffrey toothpaste or gel and show us your Caffrey smile.
Usually I get things right. I do, but not my perms. Almost right, not quite right, wrong. So now what? Precisely Right by Ogilvy, the perm you can't get wrong because it shuts itself off so it won't over-perm or frizz. Look, beautiful body and soft, shiny curl. I finally got it right. Precisely Right by Ogilvy. You just can't get it wrong.
This is what butter looks like. Before, it looks like this. Unfortunately, butter can also look like this if you weren't careful. So we made this new all-natural Butterbud sprinkles. We took the same flavor as this, removed fat and cholesterol, and left only 4 calories per serving. So even though Butterbuds looks like this, it has the delicious flavor of this. New Butterbuds, a better butter.
Why is manwich my family's favorite meal? Because manwich sauce is loaded with tomatoes and onions and peppers.
Because it's fun.
Or that it's so hot and hearty.
Because it's fun.
I love manwich because it's fun.
Manwich, it's fun.
This is Terry. For her, cooking in olive oil is a family tradition. Unfortunately, so are excess fat and calories. Well, Terry, meet Pam. New olive oil Pam cooking spray. Because it's Pam, it adds up to 90% less fat and calories. And because it's imported olive oil, it has a great taste. Who says you can't improve on tradition?
And to think I could have married a man who drank just plain orange juice.
I told you life with me would be paradise.
Introducing Dole Paradise Fruits, 100% natural tropical juices in fresh combinations that are a delicious change from the ordinary.
Pineapple, orange, guava, pineapple, passion, banana.
Passion? Passion? We'll have another.
Life's a little fresher with Dole.
Mitchum antiperspirant is so effective, you could even skip a day. If you wanted to. Dermatologist tested Mitchum.
It's a big idea. Hey, whose time is right? Don't have to hide it. It's out of sight. The perfect pack in a tiny wrap. Only in the sight. Need a handy pack to do a double take. When you see the size of our double H, so small, that's all. Only in the sight.
Not long ago, when the goldfish spilled, this was the picker-upper. Today, the Hoover Double Duty Wet and Dry Hand Vac picks up dry and picks up wet with ease. Pick up the Double Duty Wet and Dry Hand Vac. Hoover invented it.
What do your legs feel like 2 days after you shave? 3 days after you shave? 5 days after? Neat and new Neat Roll-On gets rid of bristles and stubble for up to 5 days because Neat works below the surface. So avoid this. Get touchable legs longer with Neat or new Neat Roll-On.
Hey, Vinny, where'd you get that shirt?
Hey, Stickerville, what do you think I got?
Oh, what a meal, oh,
Hamburger helper lasagna.
for your family.
Authentic Italian taste.
Hearty robusto.
but not too spicy, eh?
Hamburger Helper lasagna turns your plain hamburger into a delicious Italian meal with authentic Italian taste. Curly Italian noodles, rich tomato sauce, and a better blend of spices.
Hamburger Helper. Lasagna.
Helper, Hamburger Helper.
Make a great meal.
Liquid bleach, brightly colored clothes.
Fill it, splatter it, it doesn't matter, it's liquid Clorox too. It's color pretty and white bright too. Liquid Clorox too.
Who am I? Some days I'm cashmere, some days denim. But underneath it all, I want to feel feminine every day. So I start each day fresh with Carefree. For me, it's Carefree every day, because I'm a woman every day.
Know how eating fudge makes me feel like a kid again. A double fudge or new peanut butter fudge. Yummy. Real fudge or fudge around a peanutty center. Both Weight Watchers, both double yummy. This is living.
Say goodbye to pad days. Protection this comfortable is the better way.
Monday is a heavy day. Friday is alive.
On any kind of day, Tampax tampons protect the better way, more comfortably than pads any day. The unique Tampax design expands to your body's natural shape. For protection no tampon design can beat, comfort no pad can match.
So say goodbye to pad days. Tampax tampons are the better way any day.
Sears Portrait Studios present some great new faces. New faces captured by the photo experts at Sears.
Through Saturday only, get 2 8x10s, 3 5x7s, and 15 wallet-sized portraits for just $16.95.
So if your family has a great new face, Sears is the place to take that face. Sears, your money's worth and a whole lot more.
No matter how much your dog might have wanted it, it's always been real tough to bag real beef. But now it's a stench, because now they bag real beef in new Purina Prime. The new dog food with the real beef dogs love in every bag. So much real beef, it's the main ingredient in Purina Prime. Purina bagged it for your dog. New Purina Prime brand dog food. Real beef in every bag.
In one man's soul lives the devil.
This place starts cooking. We are gonna be cooking.
Terrorizing his victims.
You are an animal.
They ain't never gonna forget Austin Buchanan.
There's got to be some way out of here. We're dealing with a madman.
Yeah, we gotta find him. Now maybe he left a clue.
Oh, no.
Roger, let's get him out of here before we all go up in the flames. This is the end of the line.
No, Austin, no.
One Life to Live, weekdays.
I know it's been a long day. Oh, your diaper leaked. Oh, what a mess. Oh, we can't change it here. Henry, we have to go.
Mom, my cereal.
We can't now. We gotta take care of Scotty, okay? Come on.
But Mom.
If diaper padding doesn't absorb fast enough, it can leak. Only Love's has Leak Guard, a cup in the padding that helps catch wetness before it can leak. Placed up front for boys, in the middle for girls. So nothing's better on leaks than Love.
Oh, these must be yours, huh?
That's mine.
Oh, you want to carry it?
Sure.
You know, I've been thinking about getting these blue ones for my little boy. They any good?
Well, my wife won't let me come home with anything else.
Don't let morning breath ruin a good morning. Use Scope. Nothing powers away the film that causes morning breath quite like the power of Scope. Scope, the best thing, first thing in the morning.
What if you could do SEO smarter and faster? With Wix, you can edit your meta tags, page by page, or all in one go. Modify your URLs, inspect all of them in one click, and more. Save time, customize freely with SEO on Wix.
I don't know. When it's days like this, I just want to cut all my hair off. You gotta be kidding. I mean, your hair always looks so good. What do you use on it? Really? Yeah. Like shampoo? Mm-hmm. I use Suave. Suave? Mm-hmm. Great. Meanwhile, I'm buying the most expensive things I can get my hands on. So what else is new? So you really like Suave best? Yeah, I do.
Suave. When you know beautiful hair doesn't have to cost a fortune.
You miss her.
More than I imagined. I can't believe she's old enough to leave for college.
I can't believe you're old enough to be her mom. You're as beautiful today as the day she was born.
I take care of myself.
She eats right, exercises, and takes Geritol Complete with nearly twice the iron of ordinary supplements, all the vitamins and minerals you need, and now with beta-carotene.
She's got an exciting future.
So do we. Geritol Complete for the best years of your life.
I told Dole we had to come here to Paradise to do this. I mean, where else are you going to capture the natural flavor of Paradise fruits?
How about your supermarket?
They're going to make me pay for this whole trip.
Life's a little fresher with Dole.
When I look like this, my guys challenge me to lose 20 pounds. Me, Tommy Lasorda, the guy who loves to eat. Well, I lost 30 pounds in 3 months with Ultra Slim Fast. The plan was easy. I have a delicious shake for breakfast, one for lunch, and then a healthy dinner, even pasta. And I don't feel hungry. The pounds drop off, and I feel great. You know, this is the first time I ever lost anything and felt good about it.
Ultra Slim Fast. Give us a week. We'll take off the weight.
Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's doing fantastic today. I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. Oh, yeah. This is going to be interesting. At least I hope so. I always hope to be able to entertain you guys. But of course, although I was entertained, I was not surprised. I think I may have even called it yesterday. Like, I know I called it in my head. I just don't know if I said it out loud or not on my stream yesterday. But yeah. Oh yeah, you like this? This is the queen right here, dude. This is her. My very first love. She was the one that I want. When I listened to her music, I felt magic. And it was as though I was in Xanadu. And it's like we were two of a kind, her and I. Okay, that's enough. Yes, the great Olivia Newton-John, people. So there's stuff going on, of course, in the little YouTube world, in our little community, and it's always fun to kind of dip your toes in it and check it out, kind of peek in and check out and see what's going on. The stuff with we're going to talk about the stuff with this harsh reality dude, because his behavior just it just fascinates me. Not so much that he surprises me with what he does. This is what's really funny. He's by no means any more shocking than BHB or JLR or anything like that. He's not even close to on their level when it comes to being like, he's so predictable, and his skin is so thin that it's just humorous to watch him do exactly what is expected of him to do. And he's just such a weasel about it. Like he's like a little hedgehog just burying himself into the ground, like it's just oh man, that's just really, really funny to me. And so just a little update for those of you who didn't watch it. So yesterday I went over a stream and he basically endorses this guy. He like before he even plays the video in a pre-recorded video. Now I can kind of understand backpedaling a little bit. I can kind of understand backpedaling or walking it back a little bit. If you were live streaming and you were doing a reaction video and you were saying, hey, everything this guy's ever done before was credible, but he sold it as though he already watched it, first of all. So he doesn't get to play ignorance. Okay. Harsh Reality does not get to play ignorance with Justin's little video. And another interesting thing that took place is our friend Justin, our new friend, who I'm not even going to put that much attention into, just for the sake of hanging out with you guys a little longer. I'll probably play some of Truth and Transparency's live stream last night with him on there. I'm definitely going to show her community post because that's a fun read. But I know I've gotten a lot of messages from you guys. I've gotten DMs, I've gotten emails wanting me to go over Truth and Transparency. I have not looked into her too much. I know of her. I know her name's Lana. I know she was involved in the Watts case on a very controversial level in the sense that she had some very controversial opinions. And I'm going to look into that again because honestly, it's been a long time. As far as I remember, she was doing things in favor of Chris Watts, which I thought was really weird, but I don't know for sure. Before I actually deep dive into that, I have to do a behind the scenes deep dive. Harsh Reality, by the way. Yeah. What I'm about to do, what I'm describing right now, it's called vetting. Just so you know, it's called vetting. Vetting sources, vetting information. It's called vetting. It's what you do, before you endorse someone and get behind them and say, oh, everything they've ever told me has been credible and blah, 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 blah. No, yeah, like you gotta, yeah, because I don't even think you're that stupid. I don't think that you're that stupid. There's no fucking way that anything that this guy has ever said didn't fucking raise questions at some point to whoever was listening to him. There's just no way. Somebody who is bold enough to come up with such a ridiculous, asinine story about a potential witness in one of the most talked about cases in years on YouTube. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna go over some of Lana's video, but I didn't tag her in this because I didn't plan on it, and I don't know what I'm gonna get out of it. I remember clicking on this thing last night. I was actually on the phone with Cherry, and Cherry is like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "These fucking twats on fucking Truth and Transparency." So I click on it and I check it out, and I didn't watch it a whole great deal of it, but I did watch a little bit, and it looked like Lana was just annoyed. It looked like she wasn't buying any of this shit. And by the looks of her post, her community post, it seemed like she felt the same way. Now, here's the thing. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, because I'm not seeing a lot of positive comments about Lana in my chat. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, and I'm giving my chat the benefit of the doubt for now. And, you know, I have no reason not to, because I have all the faith in my world in the world in you guys. But let's just say that my chat is absolutely right about Lana, totally about who she is, right? And even this person who is so disliked by people who enjoy my content, even by that, this person who obviously doesn't reach these standards for my audience as far as ethics go, she still had enough sense to be like, dude, what the fuck is with this guy? Like, no, you don't get to speak for trans people. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but let's so Harsh Reality, this all started with this Justin dude because Harsh Reality played his video on a video that he pre-recorded and made and cut and edited. So don't tell me that you didn't know what the fuck was going on in this video, because even after the fact, how many times did you have to watch it to edit it? To edit your video, how many times did you have to watch it? And then you still put it out. And putting it out means that you have the confidence to stand by what you were saying in the video. So you don't get to walk it back. It just doesn't add up. That dog don't hunt. It just doesn't.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all? I hope you are well. Well, hello there, and all that jazz. Let's get straight into the meat and potatoes, as we've got a fair bit to go through off the back end of yesterday's quite controversial day that saw Justin. He dropped.
Okay, it wasn't controversial. I'll elaborate in a minute, but it was not controversial. Controversial is not the word that I would use here.
Some bombs, and the internet went mental. I knew that was going to split the room, and Alex split Anderson. The Excellent room. Point. It did.
Okay, wait.
And
wait,
look, at the end of the day, a lot of people's comments were surrounding the fact.
Just a second there, Professor. Hold on 1 second here. Let's hear that one more time.
Bombs, and the internet went mental. I knew that was going to split the room, and split the room. It did
not. And split the room, it did not. It did not split the fucking room, dude. That's not what happened. What happened was people saw you. It was either people were defending you or criticizing you for having that dude on there. Nobody was... I don't know what fucking delusional world you live in where you sit here and you're thinking that what the controversy was whether or not the guy was telling the truth. No, everybody with half a fucking brain who was watching that saw that that guy was completely full of shit. And everyone was calling you out for not seeing it or seeing it and putting the shit out anyway. That's what was the controversy was over. There was no split room, dude. Okay, get the fuck off your high horse. And your imaginary one at that. There was no split room, homie. There was people who were diehard supporters of you, defending you against people who were rightfully criticizing you for putting that shit out there. That's it. You were the issue. Not the content. The content was, we all knew it was bullshit.
And look, at the end of the day, a lot of people's comments were surrounding the fact that I had endorsed this guy. No, what I actually did was endorsed the information that I'd received from him up to that video. So
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry about that. So after taking the video down, he put the video back up after being criticized by yours truly. He took the video down, or actually, after I criticized him for taking the video down, I should say, he ends up putting it back up, which is pretty funny. So let's review.
Take Final Cut Pro to the next level.
You just heard him,
with
right?
The ultimate bundle, just $99.
I mean, you did just hear him.
Well, hello there. Good morning. It's still Monday.
Now, what he said was he did not endorse the guy. He endorsed the information that he's gotten from him in the past, but didn't know what to make of it yet. But that doesn't add up for the reasons that I explained earlier, dude. Okay? Dude, doesn't he look like, and this is not a jab at his weight. It's just, it's just an observation. He looks to me like a child actor grown up, like a child actor that was part of like a group of kids, and he was the funny one because he was chubby and had all the harsh comments. he was the wisecracker. He was the Jonah Hill of the group. He's totally what he looks like. And then somehow he grew facial hair, but he still has the same dumb look on his face as a fucking 12-year-old. But yeah, he looks like a child actor grown up is what he looks like.
And
now,
prepare.
Trigger warning, people. I explained my interpretation of what he thinks a trigger warning is yesterday. Now, remember what he just said. He said that he did not, that he only endorsed the information that he's gotten from the guy before. So, which is just not true.
Prepare yourselves for something quite shocking. Now we're going to watch it together.
Okay, right there. He's already stating, he's implying, very, very strongly implying that he's aware of the contents of the video. Okay? Even though in this new video that he puts out today, he says something very different. He's shocked. He's like, what? I didn't know. He's playing ignorant. He's playing dumb. But, dude, right here, you're sitting here. It's so shocking, right? You're selling the shit as if you were shocked by it. That's your sales pitch. You were shocked by it.
I did one of these videos the other day, and I just want to point out that, look, Justin is someone I've spoken to backwards and forwards within emails for some period of time. He's spoken on this case at length and given information that has come to fruition, and he's given me it prior to it coming to fruition. So from a personal experience situation with Justin, there is no reason for me to consider him to be anything other than speaking honestly.
Okay. Remember, he said he wasn't endorsing him. He was endorsing the information that he's gotten from him in the past. But here, that sounds like a personal endorsement to me. As
him
far as
to be no reason for me to consider him to be anything other than speaking honestly.
Consider him to be.
But what I will say is, honestly, what you're going to hear is going to be quite shocking.
How would you know that? If you're so shocked and surprised by the shit this guy puts out there, and it's so fucking credible, I mean, how are you walking it back now? This is you getting behind the content that you were criticized for putting out, dude. This is you getting behind it before you even play it. I don't know why you think your listeners and the rest of us are so fucking stupid, because we see right through you. We see exactly what you're doing. And what's funny is you're the one showing us. You're the one making it obvious. I'm just pointing it out. I'm walking around your crime scene with a flashlight and gloves. Look right here. Look at that shit. Look at this shit right here. Get me a baggie. Bag it up. So let's go back. Hold on, I gotta hear him say that stupid shit.
So we're going to come up straight into the meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes.
We're going to come over here. This is Justin. The link.
This guy sucks. All right. And he totally throws him under the bus. Dude, I feel bad. I feel bad for anybody that was brought up around this dude. Well, you know he didn't grow up in a fucking tough neighborhood. There's a sense of fucking honor that you get when you grow up in a neighborhood where you got to throw hands once in a while to maintain your self-respect. It's just the way it is. Now, I'm not getting that vibe from him at all in the slightest bit. That I don't think he's ever had to live like that as a kid, because a good ass whooping, like one good ass whooping on the street, is smart. It smarts. You know what I mean? Like it smarts. It teaches you something, and 99% of the time changes you for the better. You know, but they never, like, you know, like after you've gotten one, you know, at least one good fucking ass whooping on the street growing up, you know, you don't turn out to be a wishy-washy bitch like this. Like that doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
So knowing what he'd said in the past, to me directly, there was credibility in it. But that video in itself, I couldn't give any credence to it. That was the whole purpose of that, was to say, look,
we just watched you give credence to it before you even showed it to us. You told us how shocking it was before you even showed it, implying that you were already aware of what it contained. So what the fuck are you trying to pull here, dude?
This now exists. It's out there. Go and have a look and make up your own minds. And
it's out there. Go and have a look. Not I'm the motherfucker who put it out there, because the dude only had like 500 subscribers, by the way, just so you know. Yesterday, I haven't checked today, but yesterday, this Justin douchebag had 500 fucking subscribers. Not even, like, just barely half of what it takes to get monetized in the first place. So this guy invested in some dude with 500 subscribers and a fucking a hoarder's sewing workshop behind him as a background, and invested everything into what this guy was saying. And it was the most asinine, unbelievable shit that you would need receipts for. The first thing anybody with common sense is going to ask for is receipts on that information. And it's not information. It's misinformation. It's lies. It's rumors. It's bullshit. It's not even a rumor that's believable enough to spread, because I bet you anything, it hasn't spread. All that's happened is the right people, holla, have gone live or made videos pointing out that this guy was full of shit. Not this guy necessarily, but Justin, at least. So it's so crazy of a rumor, so unbelievable of a rumor, that it doesn't spread. Thank goodness.
Make up your own mind. You did. Some people happy, some people not so happy. But that's just the way.
At you, not the information. Nobody takes a guy with 500 subscribers seriously because nobody knows who the fuck he is. Nobody's going to listen to him. That's not to say that he's a nobody, because at one point I had 500 subscribers. At one point you had 500 subscribers. But at that point, you didn't have a platform to where you had the kind of responsibility that you have now.
Way of the world. We cannot please everyone. And the only thing that I kind of do find a little bit
that doesn't apply here. Okay, this is what I'm always talking about. I have to always point out that we're always having two different fucking conversations. You're over here saying, hey, this shit that I do, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, mate. No, bullshit, dude. That's not, you don't get, I get to say that. This content's not for everybody. Either you like it or you don't. Okay? Your problem is that you spread misinformation, which victimizes people, innocent people. You imply that if somebody isn't guilty of a crime who's actually a victim, well, then they're guilty of not doing enough. And you see the hate in the internet, and what you see is a demographic that you can attract and build off of. When you see all the hatred around the people talking about Dylan, you're like, that's where I'm going to throw my fishing line. That's the spot to drop my line, because I'm going to get a frenzy. And then all the other ones like them are going to come and follow. That's your game plan. That's your business model for what you're doing as far as your content goes. And it's painfully obvious.
Little bit.
And I want to be clear, I'm not faulting anyone for making money. But he's doing it at the expense of innocent people who are already dealing with trauma that they may never, ever get over. That's my problem with it. I don't give a fuck about people making money. I'm happy for anybody who makes money on this platform. What he's doing, though, is victimizing, he's perpetuating, and he's contributing the victimization, the further victimization of Dylan Mortensen and anybody else who is dealing with this situation. Anybody else that he's covered in the past. Because I know that this isn't the first time he's done this. This isn't a new method of content for him. He's just now being called out for it. And he got so fucking desperate yesterday and had the wrong person's attention finally. And everyone saw it.
Little bit funny is the same people who kind of whinge and moan and bitch about that kind of video and bringing attention to that are the same people who will search for the graphic content and details of the actual murders themselves. So look, those kind of
Okay, stop. Do that one more time.
Funny is the same people who kind of whinge and moan and bitch about that kind of video and bringing attention to that are the same people who will search for the graphic content and details of the actual murders themselves. So look.
Yes. And we'll do that behind the scenes. If you're referring to me because of a comment that I made yesterday, if you're referring to me, then yes. What I will do if I'm covering a case is if those details are available, I will go into it, and that's when I will give a trigger warning. I will not show crime scene photos. I will not stoop as low as that. But yes, in order to understand what kind of evidence, if it's made to the public, and we're all adults, and I say, hey, listen, I'm about to get into some graphic content here. So if you're, and I will spend some time on that. I will sit here talking to my chat and I will spend a good minute explaining, listen, if you guys are squeamish in any way, if this is something that may trigger you, if you've had any past trauma, you might not want to be listening for this. Very, very careful about that. But that's in order to be able to also provide all of the factual information that's made available to a case. That's not me giving graphic details of a fantasy or a theory. I will share that type of information if it is factual and verifiable. Every time. Because over here we're grown-ups and we can handle it. And some of us who can't are grown up enough to know that they can't, and they'll come back later.
Those kind of people can fuck off. Anyway, so what did Justin do? The whole, you know, at the end of the day, look, you put a spotlight on someone, and that's going to do one of two things. It's going to force them to reveal their hand. They're either going to have to, they're going to burn out, they're going to leave, they're going to go.
Okay, so this was like a strategic fucking poker game with Justin that you were doing, right? Is that what was going on there? So you were like, oh, you shine a spotlight on somebody and you see what they're going to do with their hand. You got to know when to fold them, know when to hold them, baby. No, bro, that's not what you did at all. That's not what you did at all. Don't sit here and act like you had some behind the scenes plan of how you were going to execute showing this content and discussing it. You weren't. Let's shine a light on him and see how he reacts to it. No, that's not what you were doing. You thought it was juicy shit, and you thought it would stir up enough controversy to get enough views on your channel, and that's all you were thinking about. You weren't thinking about anything else. Don't sit here and act like you were playing some sort of strategic cat and mouse, YouTuber game with this dude. That's not what you were doing. Please.
And they're gonna scurry off under a rock, or they're gonna show what they've got. Dumbass. And what did Justin do off the back end of yesterday? Did he crawl under a rock? Did he pull the video down? Did he make it private?
Oh, okay.
No, he didn't.
Okay, so yeah, Cherry just informed me that this dipshit Justin has another channel with 24,000 subscribers. Now, if this guy is as well known as he has 24,000 subscribers, okay? And then he doesn't put that kind of information on his main channel that has 24,000 subscribers. That's not an indication to you, dude, because you email with the guy. I'm going to assume, harsh reality, that you knew of this other channel. I didn't know of it. I had no idea. But apparently he's got another channel with 24,000 subs, and here you are, and you don't find it shady as fuck. You expect us to believe that you and your little games that you play with YouTube algorithms and whatever you need to get your clicks and views and in your clickbait titles and all of these little games you play in order to capitalize as much as you can on YouTube in a very nefarious manner. You're going to expect me to believe that you didn't see that as shady? That this dude is going to go to some alt channel that nobody knows about and explain this shit? Get the fuck out of my face.
He doubled down and went on to Truth and Transparency's channel.
Like, I love this guy calling anybody else on doubling down.
And further dropped more bombs. I don't know if any of you have seen it, or many of you have seen it, or none of you have seen it, but the link is in the description. And look, I would go and have a look, because this, what you're seeing here is a situation play out live where someone goes to a creator and they give them information. I'll give you a clue. I'll give you an example. The Hannah Claire case, for instance. We, as members of the public, have been told that the Hannah Claire case was it's a closed case deemed accidental or unaliving, utilizing over-the-counter medication. And that conclusion endorsed by Hannah's family. That's how we see it as the public. Now, obviously, there's little things that weave into the case over in Moscow, Idaho, talking about potential bullies.
Now, what's funny about that is I don't know that case. Okay, I don't know that case, but the way that he just described it, if it's already deemed self-inflicted or an accident or whatever, and the family endorses it, that's good enough for me. Okay, that's good enough for me, because here's the thing. I want you guys to understand something, and I think I've explained this before. That's sarcasm, by the way. You're not entitled to justice for these things. You don't know these fucking people. You have no fucking connection to them at all. Okay? If the family, because the family's going to be privy to information in the case that you're not going to be. And so if it's good enough for the family, for them to go, you know what? That's it. We've got justice. We've got the answers that we need. It's time to move on. That's enough, because they're the ones who are entitled to justice, not you. The family is. And if the family feels that justice has been served or there's no justice to be served, it is your responsibility as a decent fucking human being to respect that. Period. It is your responsibility to simply respect it. So the other thing that you're also not considering about that is, since they're entitled to that, that means that they're entitled to closure. That family deserves peace. And by you stirring up conspiracy theories and rumors and stupid, irresponsible speculations, you're costing them peace. You are robbing them of peace and closure. And you're the only ones doing it, by the way. This is why we call you tragedy pimps. Because you find those dark-souled, shit-fucked up people on the internet and feed them. See, I prefer to let them starve. Because if you have a craving for that kind of shit, there's something fucking wrong with you. There's something fucking wrong with your life. So I say fucking starve them. But you want to feed off of them. Like that, the fact that you're feeding off of them makes you lower. Lower than people. Think about that. You're lower than people who have such shitty fulfillment in their life, such a shitty lack of fulfillment in their life, that this is where they seek it, is to talk about another family and stir up insane theories and speculation on somebody else's life that has nothing to do with you, when trained professionals have already investigated it as much as it needs to be investigated and have come to the conclusion that this family can finally move on. You're actually lower than that type of person. That's a hell of a fucking feat. That's an amazing depth to be able to reach. You must have razor sharp shovels.
some of these, or at least one of these victims in Idaho sharing a room with Hannah, and, you know, accusations made. There's also remnants of conversations on the internet surrounding a variation on the story of what happened to Hannah Claire. Is it true? Is it not? Who knows? All we do know is what the public narrative is on this case, stamped, signed, sealed, delivered, which you would think there would be, you'd be able to do.
Once the family, my point being, dickhead, that once the family has moved on from it, once the family claims that they have found peace, they've gotten the closure that they're looking for. They maybe not have found peace, but the closure is the first step to getting that peace. Once they say so, then that's it. The fact that you're like, what we're aware of is the public narrative. That's because you're paying attention to the public narrative and you're creating the public narrative. You're perpetuating the public narrative, where the public narrative is the actual enemy in this entire thing. The public narrative is the actual poison. It's especially if it's a situation like Kylie Rodney's, where her death was an accident, a tragic accident. So when you have a case like that, the only poison that is being consumed by the loved ones of this poor girl is being distributed by you and channels like you, because you're perpetuating a public narrative. That poison is the public narrative. That public narrative is causing them to not be able to move on and have peace. But as long as you're making chump change in super chats, as long as you're making chump change in donations and ad revenue, then that's what matters to you. And what does that say about your fucking soul, man? You know, like, what does that say about you, dude?
Able to do a FOIA request, freedom of information, and find out the information on that, because that is just an open and shut case. It's done. It's done and dusted. There's nothing else to it. But there are people who have filed a freedom of information request on that case and been denied. Justin himself has stated that he has, as well as others, done freedom of information requests on that case and been denied, and he can prove it. He is further offering to prove it to Truth and Transparency by sending the email.
You sound like fucking Battery Betty right now. The Freedom of Information Act means dick when there's a gag order on the case. If this guy is trying to apply the Freedom of Information Act to try to get information on a case that has an active gag order on it, he's not going to get it. He's going to get denied. Anybody is. There's a gag order on it. Nobody gets it. So is that your fucking pattern of thinking? Oh, shit. There's a gag order and we're not getting anything from the press. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to request some documents and information on the case because the Freedom of Information Act allows me to do it. It's not how it works, dude. There's a gag order on the case. That means no. No. Thanks so much, Grandmaster Sid Sophos, homie. Big shout out to the Glare from London. Thank you. Oh, man. Yeah, this dude blows my mind here. There's no Freedom of Information Act when there's a gag order. And you might be saying the gag order is a violation of the Freedom of Information Act. No, it's not. No, it's not. Like, not when there's enough reason where a wait a second. Sorry, I got distracted here. Oh, why can't I see that here? Okay, that was weird. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I caught the name and I had to verify to see, but you're a troll. But you're welcome in here as long as you're respectful. That's fine. No problem. But yeah, if this Freedom of Information Act, for some reason, it's never going to trump being able to get due process to go through. It's just not going to happen. Like, it doesn't trump due process because your right to be able to access certain information on a case does not overpower or trump your a family's right to justice. There's no way that's ever going to happen. So just forget it. And you don't know what you're talking about. And this is what this is a very common. I find it interesting that not only are we seeing this perspective from the likes of people like BHB and JLR, because they're fucking entitled jackass idiots, right? But it's fascinating yet not surprising that this dude has that same sense of entitlement. He thinks that he's entitled to this information, that anybody's entitled to this information, because the idea that this family getting justice should be the priority over everything else is a foreign concept to them. What's important to them is their needs and what they're going to get out of a case. That's what they're thinking. They're not thinking on the level of, well, what we want is justice for these families. That's not their pattern of thinking. Their pattern of thinking, where their focus is themselves. And what are they going to be able, how are they going to be able to benefit from this tragedy? Hence, being a tragedy pimp. This is what makes you a tragedy pimp, by definition. Simple. You take a tragedy, and instead of being empathetic to those who are affected, you see how you can benefit from it. And that takes priority over a family getting justice for you. Period.
Email interaction surrounding that. So that in itself raises questions and raises doubt. Anyway, swiftly moving on, because we've got a few things to get rid of. He's now come out and talking about James Fry, the ex-is-it police chief over in Moscow, and saying that he's been arrested in connection with the Oakley Park murders that have been going on for some time.
Anybody with a brain, I don't even need to go while I'm sitting here on a live and somebody says that, go, oh my God, somebody look into that. Because it would be everywhere. There's no way that I would be able to open up my YouTube app on my phone and not see a bombardment of thumbnails and titles that say James Fry arrested. Everybody would be talking about it. Everybody would be making videos and going live about it. Everybody. You know what I mean? So the fact that you don't immediately dismiss that as bullshit just tells me that you're either really stupid, but you're too articulate to be that kind of stupid. So I'm going to go with the latter, which would be you're an asshole. You're aware of it. You're just trying to fucking pimp.
Now, is there anything in the media that states that? No, we do, however, know that James Fry has seemingly vanished from social media. But look, the guy, perhaps he just needs a break, needs to get away and, off the back end of the Idaho case. But this guy, Justin, is making some huge, huge statements. And there's no real grey area with it anymore. This guy is either credible and bringing people's truths out and exposing things,
He's
or
not credible.
He's an
at all.
absolute nutcase. Either way, and I'm not here to say which one he is, because it could be argued, and look, if you're watching, Justin, this is just me being as respectful as I can, and that is that to go this balls deep into some of the things that are being said,
you're doing,
people's conclusion is going to be that someone is mentally ill.
So now
That's going to be people's conclusion. And you see
this dude, he's throwing him under the bus. He's totally throwing this Justin dude under the bus, who he's been communicating with for God knows how long behind the scenes. By his admission, by the way, and he's also claimed that he's a credible source for information. And so now he's crazy. Right? Like, why didn't you come to this conclusion? This is what I'm getting at here, dude. Why are you coming to this conclusion that this person's so fucking crazy now? When it's clear that you should have come to that conclusion before you put out that video yesterday endorsing him. It doesn't make sense, because you obviously knew, as I went over before, you knew the contents of the video because it was so shocking. Trigger warning all across your fucking screen. And it was so shocking. Oh, everybody, what you're about to watch is very shocking. Like, we know that you knew that what was on that video, yet you put it out. And now, after the internet dragged your ass for putting it out, you're throwing this guy under the bus talking about he's crazy. Come on, dude. Nobody's buying this shit.
See in the comments and see some other channels pulling through this. I feel it's a little bit unfair to jump to that conclusion that quickly without giving people the benefit of the doubt or seeing where it goes. But
okay, so now it's irresponsible for me, because that's who you're talking about. People like me, at least me being one of the people that you're talking about, for sure. It's irresponsible of me to jump to the conclusion and assume that what this guy's saying is bullshit. I should have given him the benefit of the doubt that he was telling the truth about somebody lying about being attacked, and now saying that this person is trans and that she was attacked for being trans by not one person, but 4 different men or 3 different men. I took it as 4 yesterday because she said, Justin said that it was 3 people, including this person. So I took that including as a 4th person. He could have just meant that one of those people is included in that. But it doesn't matter. It's a very, very different story than what law enforcement has led us to believe. And I don't have any reason to doubt law enforcement. And when you perpetuate rumors like that, it puts a doubt on law enforcement already, and that's a dangerous thing. Right now, your opinions on law enforcement as a whole, based on all of the misconduct that's taken place, the situation that happened in Memphis, George Floyd, these situations are very unfortunate, but as people who follow crime cases, we need people who actually want justice for victims. We need to have overall law enforcement, at least the idea of law enforcement, we need to maintain that reputation and keep it intact as best as we can. And that's not to not call them out when they do something wrong. That's not to say that. What I'm saying is we have to understand that realistically, the best bet that any of these victims have to getting justice are the professionals that are trained and charged with the responsibility of getting these answers and getting that justice. So we need that entity out there. And as people who want justice for these victims, what we need to do is support law enforcement. At least the entity of it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying to not hold law enforcement officers who do wrong accountable. I'm not saying not to do that. I'm saying to just support the idea of law enforcement because they're the only chance that these victims have. It's really important. It's not going to be, obviously, we're not at a place where YouTubers are going to solve it because look at what it is. Look at the YouTube true crime community and the state it's in right now. It's a mess. I literally, like, my content is pointing this out. My content is mostly pointing this out.
But Justin's put himself on a clock. There are people who are connecting Justin to various online accounts, like on Twitter and so on and so forth, and showing that there has indeed been information put up in the past that has been incorrect, has attacked people, and subsequently been pulled down. I bring your attention to it because it's there. But in reality, people make mistakes and have to pull information down. It happens all the time. And look, at the end of the day, as aforementioned, he's put himself on a clock. He has told everybody that he is looking to speak to Dylan. There's some information. There's some things that are going to supposedly come out tomorrow, Wednesday. So everybody is going to be waited with bated breath at whether any of these things do indeed come to fruition. But
no, we're not.
The statements are big.
This is still him. What's really funny about this is him in his own not so subtle way, but he thinks it's subtle. But this is him still trying to stand behind putting the fucking video out in the first place. This is him still endorsing the shit. Well, we still have to wait and see if it comes to fruition. Like, no, dude. Like, we all know it's bullshit. That's the whole point. We all know that this is all bullshit. Anybody with a brain knows this. You're not fooling anybody. Like, you're insulting your audience. It's pathetic how much you're insulting your audience right now.
Big. They are huge. And I saw some people say, well, I don't see what the trans issue has to do with, you know, what happened over in Idaho. That's not necessarily the case. What this guy is saying, what Justin is saying, is that Brian Koberger is not the person who did this. There are other people out there who were involved in this.
Which is extremely irresponsible. Yeah, the trans issue has nothing to fucking do with that. So yes, that's also correct. No, the fucking trans issue has nothing to fucking do with it. I said it yesterday. I'm saying it again today. I'm tripling down on that. Has nothing to fucking do with anything. But the entire narrative that the police have the wrong guy and that they didn't do their job is extremely dangerous for the reasons that I just explained. Extremely dangerous. It also puts Dylan in danger, who, by the grace of God, came out unscathed in a very dangerous situation. To say the least, that's an understatement. 4 of her friends were murdered while she was under the same roof. She survived this. Dylan is a survivor. Why is the empathy for her not there? And why is the criticism for her surviving out there? Why is that outweighing the empathy for her? That is so fucking crazy. And it's so discouraging. It's so fucked up that I have to sit up here and point this out. That this poor girl is a survivor.
This murder. Now, I do feel that there was some inconsistencies in what he said in his own video versus what he said in the Truth and Transparency Live.
Okay. Never mind.
First of all, in his own video, he states that he knows the names of these people and he won't share the names of these people because he cannot. Truth and Transparency, on the other hand, he says that he has thoughts and feelings. He has, you know what I mean? He's not 100% sure. He doesn't know names. So there are some little inconsistencies. Some people brought up some information surrounding the dialysis and how dialysis works. Justin turns around and says around 50%, operation functionality on the kidneys would force you into dialysis, and that's not actually the case. And I believe also there were some errors in what he'd talked about in regards to the medication.
And who gives a fuck, dude? Who cares about the details of how a fucking dialysis works? Okay, like, I get that it's an indication that he's a fucking liar and that he's totally full of shit, but the other stuff he was saying was so fucking unbelievable that it was enough for me to go, this guy's full of shit. Not the dialysis details. I was already like, this guy, I can already tell he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, so I assumed that he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about when he was talking about dialysis.
But look, he's not a doctor. He's someone who is just seemingly coming on to release some truths. And I use that term lightly. Like I say, I have spoken to Justin multiple times, and there has been no reason up to this point to doubt him. Yes, he's made some errors.
Up to this point. Now, remember, what he said before was that I now have information that I'm going to share with you before it comes into fruition. So he knew what the video said. He knew all of these crazy accusations that this dude was making. He was fully aware of it. And then he puts the video, he makes the video, edits it, puts it together, and then puts it out. And then now he's like, up until this point. No, it's up until the point that you got called out. That's what happened. Not that he seemed incredible or unbelievable or uncredible. It's not that he seemed that way to you. It's that now you're catching backlash for supporting the bullshit when you had to have known it was bullshit in the first place. And now you're walking it back and calling the dude crazy and saying that he's wrong, that he was credible up until this point. No, dude, you don't get to do that. Okay? We're not stupid. We see exactly what you're doing. Up until this point. No, dude. No, homie.
Errors. He's made some mistakes. But I've made errors and I've made mistakes myself. So that would be unfair and hypocritical.
And you only even begin to acknowledge them when you're called out on them. Is this supposed to be an apology? This is you still throwing this guy under the bus. Well, I've made mistakes. You made a huge mistake. And it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't like, oh, fuck, I was gullible. No, you should have known that dude, you should have had enough, you have enough experience on YouTube to where you should have known to vet that information before putting it out on your channel. Simple. It's simple. You call yourself a true crime channel. You should have simply vetted the information. Because the kind of shit this guy says, I don't call, people are like, he's made a lot of mistakes. No, I don't call, now I'm sure he's made mistakes where he's gotten information wrong. I've made mistakes where I've gotten information wrong, and then somebody in my chat will correct me, and then I'm like, oh, thank God I have a chat. Thank you for letting me know. Perfectly understandable. Mistakes do happen. Everyone makes mistakes. But what I don't do is what you're doing here. and what you did before, what you did yesterday morning. That's what I don't do. That's what respectable channels that actually have scruples don't do. We don't do the shit that you did. We would have vetted the information. I mean, immediately at this point, my instinct is to go bullshit when I hear stuff like that. Bullshit. There's no way that I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to assume he's telling the truth, give him the benefit of the doubt, and then look into it. No. I'm going to assume it's bullshit and still look into it and then be like, yeah, that's just what I thought.
And hypocritical for me to criticize someone else for doing things that I myself have done. As if you've been around here for a while, guys, you know I have had to pull videos down to that. I will state that with regards to the Michael Vaughan case, none of my videos...
Dude, I almost never pull videos down. Almost never. I'll tell you this, I've never had to pull a video down where I was covering a case. Never once. Never once. I might have pulled videos down because I was like way too drunk and I was just like, oh God. But that's happened like maybe twice in a span of 4 years. But no, I've never pulled down a video. I always stand by what I say. We are all accountable for the words that come out of our mouths, dude. Anytime. I think before I speak, most of the time. I think before I speak. And if I get called out on something, I get called out on it. And sometimes you just got to eat the dick, dude, and just say, you know what? I fucked up. I've had to do that. I've had to do that. Very rarely, but I've had to do that. And this is just something that this guy doesn't seem capable of being able to do. He has no fucking sense of accountability. No sense of it at all.
My videos were pulled because of wrong information or anything like that. The videos on the Michael Vaughan case were pulled because of constant threats.
I love this.
Constant threats, constantly flagging my channel, constantly attacking, made Lana Westbrook making comments about my children and threatening to...
Okay, see, I never, ever... Like, you don't take a channel down or take a video down off your page because people are making threats. That's evidence. That's evidence. What happens is someone takes a video down from their page if they're the one making the threat because they don't want that shit out there. But if someone makes a threat against me in a chat on a video that I made on a live, I'm keeping that shit up. I'm pointing that shit out. I'm fucking you. I'm pointing that person out. I'm leaving it out there. I'm putting them on blast. That's evidence. That's going to help keep me safe. If not, get me justice if something happens to me. So don't sit here and say it's because of threats and blah, blah, blah. No, it's because you had something on there where you need to be held, where you probably need to be held accountable for saying you did something wrong. You did something unethical. And you got a lot of lashing, a lot of backlash for having said it or put it out there. And it's easy to believe that that's what took place, even though I've never seen what we're talking about, based on your behavior in the last 24 hours. It's just obvious. Sorry, I'm looking at something here. Yeah, okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Okay. Obviously, he's got a problem. He mentioned you by name in this video, so obviously he's got some sort of personal problem with you. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the issue is. You're saying he pulled the whole Michael Vaughn list because of privacy strikes. I don't know, but he did say that he kept getting struck. So if he couldn't dispute those, because every time I've gotten struck, people, I dispute them, and it always goes my way. Why? Because it takes a manual review, and then that manual review will always come into my favor because I am not in violation of terms of service with my content. These people are. So what's really funny is me reviewing their content and showing this, where I refuse to report them. If they strike my channel for reviewing their content, they're forced for a person who works for YouTube, whose job it is to manually review the content, and they're putting them in a position. They're putting them in a position to have their content that I'm reviewing seen when I'm just pointing out their shitty behavior. And 90% of the time, they're in violation of terms of service when I'm calling them out in some way, shape, or form. Now, I don't know. I don't think he is here, but I mean, that's all it's going to take. All I'm going to do is dispute it, and my content's going to be visible, period. The strike's going to be taken off my channel. Never lost that. Never. Because I don't do shitty things.
Than to go to social services because of the amount of time I was spending on YouTube and little things like that. Do you know what I mean? So that's why it became more problematic to have those videos.
Anybody, I don't know if it's true or not, but I got to point out, anybody who goes real life on that level, like if somebody fucking called CPS on a YouTube creator because they're spending too much time on YouTube, like, you're fucked up. That's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to go real life. Like, if you got a problem with somebody's fucking content, this is YouTube. This is the fucking cool thing about YouTube, is it's called YouTube for a reason. It's not just a clever name. It's clever because it means you can do anything you want. You can start a channel and express yourself. This is a social media platform at the end of the day. So you can absolutely create, you can express yourself, you can sit there in front of your phone, fucking record a video, put it out, and you can express yourself, and you can outwit this person. You can bring receipts as long as you're not doxing or going real life. You can do all kinds of things, but if you go real life on somebody, you're a piece of shit, period. Like, there's no reason for that. Like, you're if you don't like their content, counter it with content that you can respect. Live up to your own standards that this person is obviously violating. Set the example. To me, that's the honorable thing to do. Not fucking, fucking with his family, dude. Like, that's shitty, man. The fuck is wrong with you if you do that? Now, I'm not saying it's true that you did that, Lana, but I'm just saying anybody who does do that is fucked up.
Those videos on my channel, and as sad as it is, but there is going to be a revamp in that case as well. So keep your eyes out for that, as Brandy Neal makes another mistake on her timeline and releases some information that just doesn't make sense to what she said earlier on. And look, this isn't an attack on that. It's just bringing information that people want to know. But Justin, the room is split. Very, very split.
Okay. No, I have no reason to believe that you did. I have more reason. See, this is the thing, is I go by evidence. I have more reason to think that he's the liar than you, because I haven't heard you say anything that I can't verify by looking. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, your credibility goes a lot further than his, as far as I'm concerned, at least, so I have no reason to doubt you of that. For you to do something that fucked up, I would need proof of that. I'm not just going to take the internet's word for it.
Very split, but like I say, the link is in description. Go and have a look and see what you think to yourselves. You know what I mean? I'm bringing your attention to it because it's there. If you want to get involved in these cases, you want to know everything, you want to know what's being said in the background, you want to know, look, warts and all. That's what you're going to get here. That's what you're always going to get. If you don't want warts and all, you're in the wrong place. That's what we do here. Meat and potatoes, warts and all. I'll catch you in the next one.
Meat and potatoes. All right. So let me do this. All right. So this is interesting. So Truth and Transparency put up this post. And there's no need to show the picture, but this is after this Justin person was on her channel, this guy who just came up with all this asinine madness. Truth and Transparency posts this, and she says, this is one of the 4 pics that I have of Dylan growing up. I'm not going to show them, or at least I'm going to try not to. If I slip, I'm sorry. Around the age of 10 to 12 in 2015. So I'm going to call Justin out on his trans comment. Unless Dylan is becoming a man, I call straight bullshit. This picture proves that Dylan was a beautiful girl when she was growing up, not a handsome boy. As an alleged trans man himself, Justin better bring some receipts, because to think that he would ever do this to the trans fam he loves so much would be an unfortunate blow to his credibility and all the countless hours he has put into the Chicago case and the Moscow murders case. Prayers for Justin and the victims. Yes, Justin needs our prayers, not to mention God, because this is unacceptable if he lied about this. Dr. Phil, Oprah, I got a case for you, and his name is Justin. I am legit putting my foot down with the trans talks once and for all, as the only trans around here in this channel, Truth and Transparency. So I find this also interesting because, yeah. See, Justin struck a nerve. Okay. This is one thing that I do know. I grew up in Miami. I know that people in the LGBTQ community consider that community to be a family. This I know for a fact. They consider this to be a family. And this is a very, very poor representation of that family. If it's, if this person is lying about someone else being trans, it's a really shitty thing to do. And it's just a shitty thing to do in general, just to say something that, what's the word I'm looking for? To say something that is so, major seems like an understatement. But to say something that, about someone's life and who they are, about their identity and who they are, whether it's, it's disrespectful to anyone going through that. It's disrespectful to anyone who is going through any type of transitions, is having a hard time adjusting to society because they feel different. And no matter what their situation is, anybody who's experiencing that is really, really, really disrespectful. And just because you've done it yourself, it doesn't give you the right to just throw shit around about somebody's life, about somebody's identity. That's not okay. It's not a question of whether it's a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a question of it whether it's true or not. And it's not okay to just throw that stuff around about somebody when it's not true. It doesn't matter who you are, and it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, so I believe Lana is a member of the LGBTQ community, and I could see her being rightfully offended by this. Regardless of what you think of her or her content, she has a right to be offended by somebody who just throws shit like this around. It's not okay. I wouldn't blame her for taking this so personally. What we are going to do, though, is we are going to move on to some of that video. So I don't think I'm going to go through all of that, but at least like just get it up to the goal.
Everyone get link from the other chat. I hope so. I just started.
Okay, so here's this Justin dude coming up.
I literally get woken up this morning with a couple emails, and I'm like, "What the? What is this? What is this?" Share something.
At the 1122 key. On Monday of last week, Dylan Mortensen was attacked by 3 men. These 3 men, plus an additional man, are the killers who were inside the 1122 Keene house on the night of November 13th.
Wow.
Now, I want to name their names, but I probably shouldn't. I've already received threats in the past, and I'm not exactly looking forward to getting more. Due to the extra ridiculous, unconstitutional as hell gag order.
All right, yeah, we already know what he says
these
here.
3 individuals will go down.
I want to see where he comes on here. Here we go.
Here, let me reset it. Maybe you have to like go back out and come back in. I can't hear you at all. Can you hear me, Justin? Let me see what I can do here. I think you might be muted.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to remove you and then come back in.
I hate
Maybe you just
that
have to like
when
change
that-
your
when that
volume thing.
happens.
You have to like hit it before you come.
He was on the disciplinary commission.
That was the disciplinary commission. Yeah. So he like basically, what was it? For the cops when he would have to do.
See, here's the thing. You'll almost never see me sharing Facebook posts when there's a case, unless it's somebody who's directly involved in the case that I'm talking about. You'll never see me showing social media posts. Like, those are just fucking rumors and bullshit. Now, what he's showing here is his own post, and I guess Lana's addressing it. Now, this is not going to be a review of Lana or her channel. I still have to look into it. I mean, if I hear something, then I'll, call it out. But this is not what the purpose of this live stream is. I know I've gotten a lot of correspondence from people who want me to cover Lana, but again, like I said, I have to vet somebody a little bit first before I decide to deep dive into them, or at least I like to do so. So
he would look at both sides to see if the cops were being funky or whatever. Wasn't that part of it?
Yeah, so the case that he's really famous for is crap, what was it? Laquan McDonald.
Okay.
He did that case. That's what he's really known for.
Okay. And I know you were trying to connect some stuff to make the certain dates match up with Fry being in Chicago.
Yes. So Fry actually applied to the Chicago Police Academy, but they rejected him.
Do you know
And
when
that was
and I want to say
April
something real quick
2020, same
before we move on. I want to be very clear about something. Yesterday there was some comments in my chat that were brought to my attention, or at least it was brought to my attention that there were comments in my chat that that were not favorable, to say the least, in regards to trans people, or this trans person in regard to them being a trans person. That's not going to be tolerated here. Your opinions are your opinions, and that's fine. But here, you know, here's the thing about that. I just don't give a shit what anybody chooses to be. Whether it's a choice or not is not the discussion here. I don't know. I don't care. It's not my business. If somebody wants to identify as fucking Cookie Monster, then I'm going to respect their wishes and identify them as Cookie Monster. So it's just that simple. Who you are is who you decide you want to be. And I'm always going to respect that. And if you take jabs at somebody for something like that, that's completely harmless to you, that's just not going to be tolerated here. Sorry.
the same weekend as Tom and Leslie, but also the position for superintendent of Chicago Police was open, so they were interviewing for that as well.
Did he?
So we think maybe he did, and even better, on top of that, the Oak Park PD were looking for a new chief of police.
So there's a chance that you think he interviewed for a couple different positions.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because he does have properties here all over the state.
See, I actually feel,
he does.
Yeah, he's got property.
I kind of feel bad for Lana in a way, but I don't, because I mean, on one hand, I do, because you could tell that she already thinks that this guy is full of shit. You could tell in her demeanor. She already feels like this guy's completely full of shit. And I'm of the opinion, that since I already know the guy's full of shit, if he were to show up in my chat right now and say, give me a link, I'm going to be like, no, you've done enough. I'm not giving you a mic. You have your own platform to talk on. You're not going to do that here. And that's just simply because I know that he's completely full of shit. So like I said, on one hand, I at least she's not entertaining it to the sense that she's just like, oh, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. And I believe what you're saying. But at the same time, I wouldn't even give him, I don't give a fuck how many fucking subscribers he has. I don't give a fuck about any of that. To me, that's not content that I'm interested in. So I wouldn't even have him in here.
Properties in Sauk Village, Peoria, where else? I'm not sure. Franklin, Jace, Joel, Craig.
So what made you put out your video today?
She gets right to it. She gets right to it.
I saw your stream last night.
Did you?
Yeah. And I was like, wait, hold up. Let me do first.
Well, see, I mean, my son has 2 moms, so I try to be as respectful as I can to anybody in the way that they want to live their life, as long as my philosophy is as long as you're not harming anybody, and who you want to love and
Oh my God. Let's just
support.
please.
Okay, so I just excuse my ignorance then. So is Dylan always been like a woman, or
No, Dylan is male to female.
Male to female.
Somebody that I know because we worked together for Pete.
Okay,
where Span got lit. This property in Park Forest, Sauk Village, and Peoria. So he's got 3 different properties here.
Okay. And I could put Brent Kapaka in a bunch of different spots in Chicago, as well as Cleary.
Yeah, Claire Sr. is completely and totally involved in all this bullshit. But Brent is completely innocent. He had nothing to do with any of it.
Yeah, I feel like he got a bad rap.
See,
everybody has been.
I'd have to
dragging
look
his
into
name through
that.
the mud,
I don't
and
know.
I've been angry about it.
Now, how did you get involved with all of this? If you can talk about it.
What was that? You cut out.
Oh, I said, how did you get involved with all of this? If you're allowed to talk about it, like, I take it you live in Chicago.
Yeah, like why the fuck should we listen to
I live
you?
in Chicago.
Is what she's asking. Why the
I've
fuck should we
basically
listen
lived
to
here
you?
my entire life. I spent 2 winters in Colorado working for Vail, but otherwise I've always lived in Chicago or the suburbs.
Okay.
But
I'm a Midwest person too.
Yeah, cool. But 2018, 2018, I was the first openly trans recruit to enlist
I saw that
after the
article.
trans service ban got lifted. Yeah.
I saw that.
So because of that,
thank you for your service, by the way.
I didn't even graduate basic because I broke my hip. It was stupid.
You broke your hip?
Yeah, I broke my hip.
How?
I've been on testosterone for 15 years, and it made my
Okay.
bones weaker.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I call bullshit. You're a fucking sick call ranger.
Yeah. But because I did that, and because I was in the military, when Pete Buttigieg started running for president, I worked on his campaign with him.
Okay.
And I was helping him write trans healthcare policy that would be better than what exists now, because there are things that trans men need that
Keystone
insurance
got that
won't
shit.
pay for.
Keystone knows what I'm talking
and those
about.
are things that I've had to fight for over time. So that policy proposal would have covered those things that are currently not covered.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you got to work on that?
Yeah, I got to work on that with Pete.
Okay, cool.
And one of Pete's security guys is somebody that I know because we worked together for Pete.
Okay.
So he feeds me clues and riddles to solve, and that's how I get my information.
Okay. Andrea just wants to say, very brave of you to speak out about this, Justin. Thank you.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Just
I have no
wanted you to
problem
know
talking
that.
Keep
about
your
it.
$5, stupid.
Yeah,
that shit ain't brave.
just-
It's bullshit.
I feel like stuff
It's
like this is really
bold,
delicate because
but it's not brave.
You're juggling
Fuck out of here.
everybody's emotions, everybody's feelings, and when you're talking about something like this, on top of 4 people being murdered in the way that they were, and everybody's running off every which way, just kind of saying whatever. But I kind of just wanted to hear from you in terms of.
Yeah, see,
that was a pretty explosive.
That's what I know. Well, I've heard. I don't know enough. That's what I'm talking about. So I have to look into, because I know she's done some questionable shit with the Watts. I'm just really careful about what I talk about when it comes to Watts, only because I know that the Rucheks right now are they're getting shit done. It's taking a long time, but they had a long list of people to fucking barrel through because of all the abuse and the shit they've taken. So from what I understand, this Lana person was not helpful for that. So I don't know all the details, but I'd rather not talk about the Watt stuff if that's what comes up. Honestly, just because I want to respect the root checks as much as I can and just not talk about it so much. And help them move on is, do my part to help them move on. But yeah, from what I understand, she's done some similar shit with cases since, and I'll look into that. I just haven't yet, so I'm not going to rip into her on this live.
Of 10 minutes. And you stand by it?
I do. I completely stand by it.
And so Dylan was attacked?
That's what I was told, yeah.
And for the
for
being trans or for something else?
Even Justin is admitting that it's hearsay, that he doesn't know this shit for a fact.
Else.
For being trans, yeah.
So nobody knew this?
Nobody knew until Dylan had surgery in January.
Just like this past January?
Yeah.
Okay, so excuse my ignorance then. So is Dylan always been like a woman? Or
no, Dylan is male to female.
Male to female. Okay.
Yeah.
So like
bullshit.
How did you guys cross paths, or is this just recent?
I got the information from the person I'm working for and helping out. He specifically chose me to do this because I'm trans and because of my military test scores.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Not your military record.
Brought me into the fold.
No, not because. Okay, come on, dude. See, that right there is unbelievable. Not because of your military record. You're being trusted with all of this really sensitive information of a case because of your military test scores? I don't think so, man. I'm sorry. I've never even been in the military, and I know I call total fucking bullshit on that.
The fold because of Dylan being trans, and he wanted me to help her.
Okay, so have you ever talked to Dylan at all, or?
Bullshit.
I'm supposed to be talking to her on Wednesday.
What's today even? Today's Monday, right?
Yeah.
All my days are confused.
That's not happening, by the way. If that was gonna happen, if that was gonna happen, it's not happening now, dude. Just so you know, it's not happening now. Don't hold your breath.
As long as everything goes to plan, I'm supposed to be talking to her on Wednesday, so we'll see what happens.
And so all your information is
hearsay.
Is coming from your source?
Hearsay.
Yeah, all of my information comes directly from my source, who I know in person from working with him on Pete's campaign.
Okay.
Oh, so you're throwing this politician under the bus too. Good job, buddy.
Did the people that
Mommy of 5, thank you so much. She has even claimed DM was a man. Don't let her fool you. Okay, yeah, you're the second person to say that. Thank you.
So nobody knew anything like this until the surgery?
That's my understanding. My understanding is that the rumor has been going around for a long time, and it could
fucked up.
Possibly, maybe be related to whatever happened at Pi-Fi in the fall, because none of us know what happened at Pi-Fi.
What do you mean Pi-Fi in the fall?
There was some sort of thing that happened, and the rumor is that some of the girls either got kicked out or they left.
Okay, so the girls in the house, people that...
Yeah.
Okay. And that was in the fall? Like this past fall?
I think it was fall 2021.
Fall of 2021?
I think so. That or 22. I'm not entirely sure.
And then was the surgery like this past January of like 2023 or 2022?
2023, just a couple weeks ago.
Okay. And you mentioned something about
I like Unmasked.
I mean, you mentioned quite a bit of things in the video.
I haven't heard shit about Unmasked shit since the fuck, I think it was the Summer Wells case, man. I don't know what's going on with Unmasked. I remember liking Unmasked though.
Do you care to want to like elaborate on anything, or it's just the video stands as is, or
I mean, really,
like, do you
I don't
think
really
that any
know
of the
what else to
parents,
say.
do you think that any parents are going to contact you and say, what are you talking about?
Nobody has, so we'll see.
And no one's like contacted you to say, take that down?
Nope.
Because it's not true.
So
you know what I mean?
I'm assuming Keystone Pirate is military. When we get new people in my flight troop, we send the name out to all of our people to get a vibe before we receive the transfer. This one would have been denied. Hashtag air cavalry. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not getting the vibe that Justin here has the stuff, as it were, to hack it in the military. And that's based on what they said yesterday. It's based on what he was saying yesterday. Yesterday he was saying like immediately through the trans thing, started talking about being bashed for being trans to try to as though that was going to make the information he was delivering more credible, and it doesn't. It's completely irrelevant. The fact that he brought it up showed me that this is somebody who just likes to play victim a lot. And I don't have a lot of respect for that. Dra Latina, DRA Latina. I think there are threads of truth within Justin's magic carpet. There are so many erroneous statements from a medical perspective. That's what I'm hearing too. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. But yeah, none of this makes sense. This is all bullshit.
Nope.
What about like law enforcement?
Nope, nothing.
Like even Lana knows that he's fucking
Has
lying.
the media reached out to you at all?
Nope.
Right. Why hasn't the media reached out?
And honestly,
you know why? Because the media has better resources and they're already calling bullshit on everything that he's saying. Because trust me, somebody's looking into it. Somebody is. There's just no way that somebody's going to make that kind of accusation and somebody's not going to be like, all right, let's check it out. Because they're not going to want to miss being the first to discuss it. But the thing is a credible news source isn't going to do that. Maybe like News Nation, maybe. I mean, and I'm only saying that because I know that Ashley Banfield interviewed Chris Watts' alleged gay lover. So, you know, the only person that I can imagine entertaining this trashy information, this irrelevant bullshit information, would be Ashley Banfield.
Honestly, I don't even care about the media. I just want to help Dylan. That's all I care about.
And so like you So what do you know any of the when it's probably better questions for Dylan. Do you think that she confided in any of her roommates and they like accepted her and any of that?
Yeah, because
I'm not entirely sure.
She lived with 3 other people.
I don't have those details.
And tons of people coming in and out of the house. And it was a big secret that she was trans. Bullshit. Bullshit. God, this poor girl, man. Like, it's just so shitty that these people like feel the need to talk about her the way that they do.
Details right now.
And you mentioned something about her being speared because of Bethany. Are you allowed to talk about that at all?
So my understanding is that Dylan and Bethany are super good friends. So the people involved with the crime left them alone. But then when they found out that Dylan is trans after her surgery, they couldn't trust her anymore.
What?
But also there are...
Why could they trust her before, but not after?
Right.
What would that have anything to do with?
The fuck are you talking about?
It has to do with the Mormon Church.
Oh, so now it's an LDS thing. Okay.
Oh, you mean like just their beliefs, and,
now,
it was like, okay, now she's like a...
Look at the smile. Look at the smirk on this asshole.
What? Oh, you mean...
It has to do with the Mormon Church.
It's like...
Oh, you mean like...
It's like he just got... Look at his face. It's like he just got pleasure from just adding a whole new twist to his bullshit story. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Just their beliefs, and it was like, okay, now she's like a, what do they call it? Like a dark spirit?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. But there are
that's the
there
ticket.
are other extenuating
Dark spirit. There you go.
factors that go into play with it as well, but I can't really entirely talk about that yet.
Okay. What's your take on her version of the events of seeing somebody in clad black? And
yeah, you know,
I'm not entirely sure that's what actually happened, because all the different versions,
right? Because the probable cause affidavit is just a big fucking lie, right? Okay.
Of her story that I have heard have never added up to me.
And then do you know where Bethany was that evening?
I don't know. I don't even know where Dylan actually was, because the timelines are so messed up. We can't even place Bethany or Dylan at the house.
Like that evening?
Yeah. So like between 1 and 4, there's really no way to
So law enforcement claims that she places herself at the house, right? So she tells law enforcement that she was at the house when your sources say that she wasn't. That's interesting. Why would she say that? Why would she put herself in the house? Why would she do that? That makes no sense. Why? It makes no sense that she would do that to herself.
Point exactly where Dylan and Bethany were without getting their cell phone information.
Okay. So Christ Church and the Mormon Church is different though, right?
Yeah, so it's like Christ Church, the Mormon Church, and the LDS Church, but they're all Mormon.
See, Lana knows that he's full of shit at this point for sure. And now what she's doing is she's saying, okay, she's saying, all right, dude, explain to me what you think the Mormon Church is. Explain to me the difference between the Mormon Church and the Christian Church.
Okay.
She's testing him now.
So you mentioned about Xana being Ethan's beard. Do you have like proof of this, or is it just...
Okay, so now Ethan's gay. Now Ethan's gay, according to her, and Xana was his beard. Okay, wow. This dude's just throwing crazy shit around.
What your source told you?
It's what my source told me. There are video files and audio files, but I don't know if they will be released.
That means no, because they don't exist, because you're full of shit.
And then so something that I've been looking into is the Eco Shield.
Hoo boy. That's a whole can of worms right there.
It sure is.
Hoo boy.
Interesting.
So I actually found something interesting about that though.
Did you?
There's
Did
a
you?
company that's
You really
part
found something
of
interesting?
Eco Shield, Legal Shield, the Shield in general,
Mhm.
and they have a headquarters in Atlanta.
They do.
Yeah, they have a headquarters in Atlanta.
And
Yeah, they're also in Austin.
But what's interesting
Oh.
about the Atlanta one is Katie Janess and her dog Bowie.
What?
Her dog Bowie, as in the.
Lana's like, huh?
Is that the animal that got skinned?
No, Katie Janess and her dog Bowie were murdered in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. The I'm sorry. Yeah. She was running or whatever. She was walking her dog.
Yeah, she was out walking her dog and she was stabbed to death, and so was her dog.
Oh, I thought her dog was okay.
No, her dog died. Tom and Leslie's dog is okay.
Okay, but the dog was stabbed.
Yeah,
I know.
killed.
It was that in that was what, like a year.
So when typically it's usually a man who needs a beard. So it's kind of fucked up, actually. It's kind of when you think about it, actually, it's kind of a fucked up term. It's very dated. You could say it's a dated term to describe a woman who's pretending to be the love interest of a gay man for the sake of appearance. So let's say that it's 1990 and there's a gay man who happens to be a high-ranking military officer. They would probably, when the times weren't more accepting of gay relationships, they would call the woman a beard. The woman in that relationship would be a beard because they give the appearance of making the man seem manly. That's the analogy. That's the yeah, which, like I said, it's kind of fucked up. It's pretty dated. I've used the term myself recently, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know. It's kind of fucked up considering the times now. It's a little yeah, like I said, it's a dated way of describing things for sure.
I thought they ruled out Brian for that. Weren't they looking at Brian for that unsolved murder?
Yeah, they were originally looking at Brian. I was originally looking at him as well because I didn't have all of the other information that I have now, but Brian did not do it.
Yeah.
But I have a suspicion
So
of who
not
did it,
only,
but I can't prove it.
So this narrative that this dude is trying to spin is that Brian is innocent, which would make great clickbait content, clickbait for fucked up content, but it's going to it's going to be lucrative if he can spin it like Critical Case style. If he could spin it, then it'll be lucrative for him, but he's not even trying to make it in any way believable. None of this information can be vetted or verified, none of it. And so he's just throwing out the most asinine, most ridiculous things that can be said regarding the victims in this case. And he's being called out even by the grifters, even by the tragedy pimps. The tragedy pimps are calling this dude out. So that should tell you something.
Yeah, I was really, when I saw that video, I was like, okay, this has to come down if it's not true. Why isn't it coming down? Why isn't it coming down? Then I saw this post and I'm like, okay, we're going really, it was just to read this about Chief, Fry. You said, when you said we found the 2 smoking guns, we needed to place Fry in Oak Park. When do you feel this will ever be spoken about by, if the FBI have Fry in custody, don't you think they're going to be talking about that?
See, I don't think again.
What I know
I
is
have
that
to
a whole
look
bunch of
into
shit
it
is supposed to.
because I know a lot of people are saying this stuff. You're saying that Lana thinks Brian Koberger is innocent, being framed by police. If she's saying that, I don't think she thinks it. I think she's just spinning the narrative. She's just trying to be, again, that's tragedy pimping. I don't think that she thinks it. I think that she's just trying to sell that shit. It's her MO. Apparently, this has been her pattern since she's been on YouTube. So we'll see. I'll look more into it. But apparently, allegedly, this is what she does. And if this is what she does, then I don't believe that she believes it at all.
It's supposed to come out on Wednesday. That's all I really know. They're keeping everything very tight-lipped right now.
Well, yeah, they are. There's that gag order.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that because of the way I get my information, he's not outright telling me the information. He gives me the clues to find the information. So that way I'm not bound by the gag order and I'm allowed to talk.
Yeah. So have you talked to Anne before or since any of this?
If you weren't bound by the gag order, dickhead, then you would be privy to the information on the case that you're not able to obtain, that you keep getting denied.
Any of this?
I don't even know who Anne is.
Well, Brian's attorney.
Oh, I've emailed her a couple times, but
so
her response to me came through.
You have an inside source working this case, and you don't know the name of Brian Koberger's attorney, even though that and you're covering the case with your YouTube channel, and you don't know that there's a discrepancy, that there at one point was a discrepancy or a possible discrepancy because she represented two of the victims' mothers. You didn't know this? Everyone knows this. And you don't even know her first name. You don't know who Anne is. Really, dude? You expect us to think that you're credible. Harsh Reality thought that you were credible. Interesting.
She can't technically email me right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. So why was everybody murdered?
Ethan had to do with gay and gay for pay.
Gay for pay. Okay, so
that's like the 2.0 thing that I'm.
So let's spread rumors about the fucking victims now, and now Ethan was not only gay, which he wasn't, by the way, but also a gay prostitute, is what he's saying. This is fucked up. I hope the family sues the fuck out of this guy.
Thing that I'm talking about with like the, like the OnlyFans on steroids, I call like OnlyFans 2.0, things of that nature. Like,
yeah, that's part of it. Kaylee was killed as revenge for Hannah.
What? So there's
Kaylee?
A different motive for all of these victims, right?
I thought Maddie was her alleged roommate or something.
Maddie and Hannah lived together their freshman year in the dorms.
Can you prove that?
Sophomore year, that I don't have proof of, at least not right now.
You don't have proof of anything.
But sophomore year,
so far
Hannah moved out.
You've been asked to provide proof of
her apartment
everything you've been
Baker
saying,
Street.
and you can't provide
her
proof of anything.
Her first roommate was this really sweet little old lady. Then she moved out, and then Hannah's new roommate moved in. That roommate has asked me not to say her name, so I want to keep her out of this.
Wow.
Her younger roommate.
Look at the integrity.
I'm not sure if she was younger or older.
Such integrity.
I think her roommate might have been older.
Is that the person that was roommates with her when she passed?
Yeah.
Has she ever spoken about anything? Has she ever put anything down? Was she there? Was she the one that found Hannah?
She was the one who found Hannah. She came home and Hannah's door was shut and locked. So she called MPD. They showed up, knocked Hannah's door down, and found her dead.
And that was the Baker Street, right? That's where she...
Yeah, that was the Baker Street apartment. And I have spoken directly to Hannah's roommate who lived with her at the time that she died. So I have all those
Bullshit.
conversations.
Bullshit. So show them. Show them.
Was she ever interviewed by the police? They ever...
She's been trying to get Hannah's file from them since Hannah died. They won't hand it over.
This guy's so full of shit, dude.
Isn't it a closed case?
What a fucking liar.
Yeah, it is.
So what's the whole... Why can't she get it?
So she was promised the file 3 separate times. Every time that she asked for it, they wouldn't give it to her. And she hasn't known why. Because her dad also tried to get it and they wouldn't give it to her dad. So some of my friends and I, we put in FOIA requests to get it.
You don't have any friends. Shut up.
Did they give a reason? Did you appeal it?
I did not appeal, but I still have the email, so I can forward that to you so you can read it.
Yeah, I would like to take a look at that, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally fine.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, some proof of what the fuck you're talking about. That'd be great.
I kind of just wanted to hear from you directly because, like I said, because
I think you're a fucking liar.
Say that someone's lying or they're this or they're that.
I am.
I kind of just was like, okay, well, how is this still on the internet if it is all not true? Law enforcement should be able to get this taken down. The families, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Like if I were lying, somebody would have taken it down by now.
No.
That's what I was saying.
That's not true. Okay, let me address that real quick. This is another thing these tragedy pimps do, okay, which is really fucking disgusting. They thrive and feed off of the fact that these families are already going through so much that they're like, I don't even want to deal with YouTubers. Because as soon as they get involved with YouTube, then it perpetuates more. It feeds them more. Or they're like, oh, this person attacked me. This person struck my channel. Blah, 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 blah. They feed off that. So no, it's not true that just because if it wasn't true and you're lying, that this stuff would be taken down. That's not true. The people who you're talking about would have to privacy strike you. And in order for them to do that, they'd have to insert themselves in this situation that much more. And what vultures like you do is thrive off their desire to just, not want to be any more involved in what they already are and what you're already making them. They just want peace. And you're feeding off of the fact that they just want peace like vultures. That's what makes you people fucked up. All of you that do this shit.
To myself.
And
when I saw this, about, and I was like, okay, well, somebody could be acting like you. And the only way that I could do that is by flushing it out. So I went ahead and that's why I put this up here saying that, all right, well, maybe Justin will see this because sometimes you don't even know when people are doing stuff to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at the, that Chef Dizzy Twitter that popped up recently.
Okay. Yeah.
All he's doing is attacking me. And he is saying all these lies that just aren't even true.
Do you believe that that's harsh? Isn't that who Chef Dizzy is?
It's not Anon because Anon is in PC.
He is in PC.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it.
Yeah, he's a key material witness.
For the win.
Okay.
He's a key witness, isn't he?
Yep, he is.
I knew it.
Yeah, but
fuck Lana. Woo! I called
so
it.
now she's acting like there's some sort of verification. Like all of a sudden, because it's something that she thought was fact, Now this guy has all this credibility. Woo! Now all of a sudden this guy's credible. How does that work? How does that work? Now all of a sudden this guy's credible. Interesting.
I called that shit.
What?
So you know how Payne just up and disappeared, right?
Payne did?
Yeah, did you notice that after the PCA came out, he vanished into thin air?
No, I mean, when you say vanish in a thin air, like, is he in PC then? Is there anybody in
He is.
Is
He
there anybody in
is. He's in
protective custody?
PC. Yeah, he is. He's in PC.
PC is protective custody. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, because Payne was also one of my sources until they pulled him out.
Really?
Yeah.
So how upset were they when I released the body cam footage of everything?
I don't know. No one talked to me about that.
Because I know that that they had that for like a month, like the news outlets, like mainstream media.
Oh yeah, that body cam footage, from what I can tell, it's not even really relevant.
It's interesting with the well, a couple things to me were interesting.
So now the evidence, the actual evidence isn't relevant. You know why? Because it doesn't fucking coincide with your bullshit.
The amount of people that were responding for certain things for a noise complaint. Why are there all those officers? Number one. Number two, when you have a ride along, they're not supposed to be all up in that like that.
Yeah, basically those videos are just giving you the proof of the sketchy stuff that's been going on
At the house, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
The revolving
So
door.
Yeah, the revolving door of the plug house.
Yeah.
You see what that does right there? That's not so subtle victim blaming. It's an attempt to be subtle, but it's victim blaming. All of the nefarious activity that was taking place in the house and the revolving door of people coming in and out. Like, it's a college house, dude. I would find it suspicious if they didn't have people coming in and out of that fucking house all the time. What are you doing in college? Like, what are you doing? Dude, my brother is the squarest dude that I ever met in my life. Square as fuck. And when he was in college, dude, he had fun. He partied. You know? Like, that's when you're supposed to do that. That's when you're supposed to, like, technically, you're supposed to get that all out of your system during college. That's why there's that pattern of behavior that takes place amongst what society deems a successful person. That pattern takes place as well. You do well in your studies in school, and then you move on, you go to college, and you do well, but you party and you have a blast in college, and then you get a job, you settle down, but you have fun as a bachelor or bachelorette for a little while, and then you meet somebody, and then you settle down and you get married, unless you met somebody in college or you have your high school sweetheart, whatever the fuck. But you're supposed to get all that shit out of your system in college, and then move on, get married, settle down. It's actually abnormal for you to not have a good time in college. It's insane. It's like your first time. It's a rite of passage. You get the fuck out of your parents' house and you're on your own for the first time in your life without any adult supervision, because technically you're an adult. That's how it works.
So who helped Payne write that PCA? Because it wasn't just him.
That I don't know, but I know it was intentionally written the way it was.
You could tell that.
Yeah, it was intentionally written that way to get BK off.
What?
It was intentionally written that way to get BK off.
Intentionally written the way it was.
Helped Payne write that.
Yeah, the revolving door of the plug house.
Yeah. So who helped Payne write that PCA? Because it wasn't just him.
That I don't know, but I know it was intentionally written the way it was.
You could tell that.
You mean it was written by
Yeah, it
accident?
was intentionally written that way
What?
to get BK off.
Wow.
It was intentionally written that way to get BK off.
They're having two different conversations, by the way.
So basically, it was intentionally written that way to be beatable.
Yep.
Why? Huh? What?
Again, is this your
How does
speculation,
that make
or
sense?
is this?
How does that make any sense at all?
That's coming from my source. So
Yeah, your source sucks.
What's has there been any talk about? I told Adam everything.
We still don't know what that is about.
And thank you for your service, Keystone Pirate. Appreciate it.
Because we don't know where Adam is, and Adam isn't talking.
The fuck is Adam?
And anyone else who knew, unless Dylan and Bethany knew, everybody else who knew what happened is dead.
Why did Harsh do that interview with that lady?
I think it was just for clout, honestly.
Well, because I mean, I caught him lying a couple different times.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's really just, I kind of think he likes the attention.
Wow.
That's how it felt to me. It was kind of like,
oh, that's what happened. So Harsh got a little butthurt because homie threw him under the bus after he got thrown under the bus. So now homie here, Justin, is throwing Harsh under the bus, saying that he does all of what he does for attention. Okay. This is how you know that things are bullshit. Okay? Because I like credible true crime creators, they don't go at each other like this. They don't do this. You know that there's bullshit in the midst of things. You know that there's bullshit when you have idiots arguing with each other over what's real and what isn't. None of them are credible. None of them. The credible ones are the ones that are doing their own thing and putting out the same information. They may not have the same opinions on this information, but they absolutely are sharing the same information. The credible YouTubers are. The ones who aren't are just throwing out whatever the fuck and throwing each other under the bus because they're in competition with each other. Why are they in competition with each other? Because they want more clicks and views than the other guy. Because they're interested in what they can benefit. How they can benefit from these tragedies, not how they can contribute to helping get justice and create awareness and perpetuate awareness. That's not the interest here. The interest is what they can benefit from it, which would be the only reason why these creators would be throwing each other under the bus, especially when they're spinning the same narratives. You're not getting the whole story. Maybe if Brian Koberger is guilty, he had an accomplice. How could he have done this by himself? Blah, 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 blah. All of these people spinning the same bullshit narrative, yet they're chopping each other down. They're cutting each other's heads off. That should tell you how credible these people are. Any of them.
an attention grabbing sort of thing because everybody was so obsessed with him and his car.
His car?
Yeah.
What about his car?
He has a little white sedan.
That looks like a Elantra?
Yeah.
Suspect vehicle 1?
Yep. I can't even keep track of how many vehicles are involved in this right now. There's so many vehicles.
No, there's one vehicle. Just one.
Um,
One vehicle relevant to the case. And they got it. That's it.
so what do you think about Shoe Paul?
Yeah, so the Shoop family are pretty fucking scary. Nothing happens in that town without them knowing about it. They basically run that town.
Thank you, Calamity Jade, as always. Jen P says it's in reference to Chef Neighbor Guy in Harsh. PS, as always. Thank you.
Why did Cleary have to file bankruptcy in 2016?
That I don't know. I'm still looking into that.
Yeah, all of these irrelevant names, all of these people that
was,
probably exist and have nothing to do with this case. They're just throwing out all these names that obsessive idiots are going to deep dive into and start creating their own narratives about them. Innocent people who just happen to be, by chance, by name, somehow connected to the other people involved in this case. On a 6 degrees of separation type scenario here. And it's really fucked up. It's really fucked up.
Was Fry at the bar that night?
Yep. Guess whose truck?
You see, they're talking about the chief of police right now, Chief Fry, and now they're slandering this guy.
You can say it.
It's Fry.
And be incorporated. Thank you so much. Is this Banfield's most recent source? Good one. Thank you so much.
Fry's truck.
That's what I thought. You can say it.
It's Fry's truck.
That's what I thought.
Wow.
And the car on the gas station CCTV, that's not an Elantra.
It's a Sonata.
Yeah, it's a 2017 Sonata, and there's only one person who owns that car.
Let me guess.
Unreal.
Is it someone's son?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say that, let's just get up here and use our platforms to trash the police, imply that they frame somebody because they're actually guilty of the crime, and they're also trans and homophobic, and to the point to where they murdered people over it. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking into Lana.
Is it what's his name's son? Is it Mike's son?
Nope.
Right. Yeah.
Scott
One of the
Jr.
most common fucking cars that a
is
college
Larry's
kid's
son?
gonna have.
Yep. Scott Jr. owns that car.
Was he coming from the White Ave area?
I'm not quite sure, but I know he was in the house and he's one of the killers.
You're coming out of my channel and saying this. What? You're coming.
I'm not quite sure, but I know he was in the house and he's one of the killers. Scott
Wait.
Jr. owns that car.
Was he coming from the White Ave area?
I'm not quite sure, but I know he was in the house and he's one of the killers.
Okay. You know this. So you just accused an innocent person of murder. Like, it blows my mind that these people don't know how fucking stupid they are and how they're so subject to fucking lawsuits. No evidence at all. And they're accusing cops and family members of cops of being the murderers of the most talked about case in the country right now. Smart. Real smart.
You're coming out of my channel and saying this. What?
Yep. Because he wanted revenge for Hannah.
What?
And KG was bullying Hannah.
This dude just like made up a fucking soap opera in his head and he's putting it out on YouTube. He made up a fucking soap opera in his head about real
Also,
people
do you have any proof
who
of
are
this?
victims of a murder.
Not yet.
Of a quadruple murder.
So this is all speculation?
I know it to be true from talking to Hannah's other roommate.
See, at this point, Lana's like, okay, yeah, this dude is just straight up. This isn't what I do. What I do is I make implications so that people think that this is what I'm saying, but I'm saying it without saying it. This guy's just straight up saying this shit, so I'm going to distance myself from him. This is what Lana's doing right now. It's very obvious because she just sat here and cheered him on for agreeing with stupid, crazy, half-cocked fucking harebrained theories that she had. But now that this dude isn't even holding back and he's just throwing crazy accusations at people around, she's like protecting herself and distancing herself. Very typical and cowardly move.
But that is what it is.
So this is your speculation.
Yeah, I guess we can call it that.
Wow.
But the rumor on the street is that Scott Jr. wanted revenge for Hannah's death.
So now it's just a rumor on the street.
And if you look at the date,
it's not my fucking so credible source now. It's the rumor on the street. Okay, dude. Okay.
Of everything. The murders on November 13th were 2 or 3 days before Hannah would have turned 21.
She was born on November 15th, 2000 in Boise. She was the middle child of 3 kids.
Yes. Yeah.
They bounced around a lot for him being a lawyer. Do you know why?
That I don't know. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the church, though. But also, Hannah's dad.
All of these conspiracies always involve like cops and the LDS church. Like, dude, like come up, like you can't do better than that.
Got his law degree at the same time as Franklin Lee. Franklin Lee just took not ownership, but they transferred from Estes LLC to Franklin's LLC.
Okay.
So Franklin basically controls the property, but Estes is still owning it.
What property?
The 1122 King property.
So who owns that?
Who cares?
Right now it's owned
What
by
difference does it make?
Dan and Scott.
Yeah.
But Franklin basically controls the property through his LLC or whatever. But Franklin and Scott Sr. got their law degrees at the same exact time from the University of Idaho College of Law.
Who gives a fuck?
What year? 2000? 2000.
It's a college town.
Because then he. Are you talking about Scott Cleary?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got his
They are stalkers, dude. Like this is what happens when busybodies.
and then they all moved to Seattle. And
This is what fucking happens when busybodies like they start looking into people who are irrelevant to the case. They start looking into like who gives a fuck about who owns the King Road property. Nobody cares. It's irrelevant to the case. It has nothing to do with the case. But then when you start looking and deep diving into the people who own it, then your mind, because you're that much of a fucking busybody, your mind is going to start going into places and start going, oh, well, what about this? And what about that? And how about this people are connected? Oh my God. Dude, it's a fucking small college town. Somebody knows somebody. Who gives a fuck? Doesn't matter. Graveyard Flowers, thank you so much. It was JFK and Walt Disney in the conservatory with a lead pipe. I agree. Thank you so much. I mean, these people are fucking dumb, dude.
then they went to Washington.
Mm-hmm. I had that here somewhere. Where'd it go? Is it here? No, not there. I have too many goddamn files. Too much stuff to keep track of. No, that's not it. This one. Okay. Oh. Education. So Scott Sr. was at UI College of Law from 97 through 2000.
Yep. And then Ann Taylor went there and she was same time. And
I haven't pulled her background yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
I pulled
Okay.
hers today.
So you pulled the background on all these fucking irrelevant people, but you didn't pull the background on the attorney assigned to defend the guy who is being charged with the quadruple murder? Really? This is, I mean, you expect us to think that you're credible? And you're telling us right now, you're telling the whole world that you vetted and dug deep into all these other people who are completely irrelevant to this case, but you didn't look into the background of the attorney whose name you didn't even know. And she is the attorney who is representing the person who is currently in custody and charged with the quadruple murder that everyone in the country is talking about. Yeah, you're real credible, dude.
Sure, to double check.
And Franklin Lee graduated from the College of Law in 99.
Who gives a fuck who that is and
overlapped
what he
with
graduated
C.
from?
And
so they knew each other from getting their degrees.
And Shoop was there in 99 too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was actually surprised that Hannah was born.
He's
born
agreeing
in
even though he
Boise
doesn't know who she is.
When
Gotcha.
he's going to school in Moscow. So did him and his wife not live together? Did she live just in...
I have no idea. I can't
We know
find
you have
anything
no
about Hannah's
idea.
mom anywhere. I can't even find anything about Scott Jr. anywhere. He's been entirely wiped from the internet.
I found stuff on Amanda just because of their bankruptcy. I was very interested when I came across that. Why would Fry kill two people and stab them to death in Chicago?
That
Okay, so Fry.
I think that has to do with the whole Chicago police thing.
So the chief of police stabbed and killed two people in Chicago, according to these people. Okay.
Because Tom Johnson had a say in all of that.
What the fuck?
So his bankruptcy was voluntary. It was Chapter 7. They discharged it
in 2017. It was filed in 2016.
Yeah.
None of this is relevant.
The murders were just a couple years later.
Yep.
So let's talk about the drugs. Are there drugs involved with this?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Dude, you're on fucking drugs, bro.
Well, what do you know? What do you think you know?
Let's see if I can.
Hold on 1 second while I come up with completely fucking more irrelevant bullshit information. Hold on. Let me hold on. I'm gonna dock somebody who has nothing to fucking do with anything. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oh. Idiots. Morons.
sign in. Properties. All right, now let's see if I can share screen.
Was Brian working before he went to WSU for school? Was he involved in any way with any type of police work, law enforcement?
I'm pretty sure he's a Fed informant. That's my information, is that he's a Fed informant.
Right, because you're going to have that information.
So I'm kind of a nerd with way too much time on my hands. And let's see.
Maybe fucking open up a fucking storage locker and put some of that fucking shit you're hoarding in your house in the fucking storage locker if you got so much goddamn time, bro. Because this is not healthy.
If I scroll in here in Idaho, all of these properties right here, those are owned by Clear Senior and Franklin. And that's in Boise.
Could you pin them to any property in Moscow? Because I couldn't.
Yeah, many.
So
many
are they doing it with a like a LLC or like a trust?
Yeah, they're like using all these LLCs as like
sources of income?
Shell companies almost.
Fucking idiot. Shell companies for what?
Okay.
What are they fronts for?
Yeah. So
shell companies for what?
The pink.
Like, don't say they're shell companies unless you give a motive as
here.
to why they have shell
These
companies.
orange ones.
What is the purpose behind the shell
Those
companies?
are like their properties.
Shell
Those
companies
are
exist
Franklin,
to cover up
Clear. No. Franklin,
illegitimate businesses.
Perky, SD, and Scott Senior. They all have properties right there in Moscow.
Right. You mean the property owners of the house that they rented out to college kids because it's a lucrative way to make money? Like that? Oh.
Let me ask you a question about a piece of property.
Okay.
It's a warehouse.
In Canada?
A warehouse that is completely irrelevant.
It's a warehouse in...
Because Marcus, the owner of Corner Club, has a business in Vancouver.
Ow, does he? Now shut the fuck up already. I'm done. I am done with that. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue looking into this Lana person. I'm going to continue looking into this Lana person. This Justin person, I'm fucking done with. Like, I'm not giving this person any more attention. But yeah, anybody, dude, if you're putting out information like this, dude, I'm just going to fucking clown you. Like, it's just ridiculous. And most importantly, I'm going to clown your listeners for fucking encouraging you. So yeah, congratulations, Lana, you made it to my shit list. But yeah, so and it's really funny. It's really funny because this harsh reality dude, I mean, all you got to do is look at his fucking titles. You got to look at the titles of his videos, and they're already clickbait and they're already bullshit. Like, look at this. Like, Emmy Headstone, thank you so much. He needs to lose his assignment in the Horde. Thank you. Appreciate that. Like, Dylan Mortensen attacked and wants to speak out. It's just ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. It's completely and totally dumb. You've got where's this one? Right here. He brings up some guy named Brent. Why does nobody talk about Brent? Why? Because fucking he's irrelevant. Brings up another name, brings up all these other names in all these other cases. And you know, implies, did LE throw Nicola Bully under the bus? How the media condemned Brian Koberger, which is like some way to imply that he's being treated unfairly. This is just asinine. What does Steve Gonsalves know? Implying that Steve Gonsalves is holding that back information, that he knows more about the case, that he's probably involved somehow. These are these ridiculously irresponsible titles, just his titles. I mean, I'll show you. These are all just his titles right here. Dylan Mortensen, Inner Circle speaks. Who's lying in the Idaho 4 case? It's fucking ridiculous, man. Yeah, this guy sucks. All of these people suck. Lisa Maxwell, thank you so much. Cookie Monster did it with the spatula. Exactly. I am going to wrap this up, guys. As always, I had a blast with you guys. Hopefully, there'll be more stuff to go over tomorrow. If not, guys, as usual, and as always, I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very, very soon, my friends. I appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.